Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to our Sunday devotion. And today I want to talk to you about a couple things. One comes from a book I just completed with our Discord group called Choose Joy by Kay Warren. And one is disappointment. I want to talk to you about that because I think these things work together really well. So in this book that we've been doing, there was a little statement made that I think is pretty profound. Basically, the author of the book says that she heard a professional stress consultant say that if you want to decrease stress and increase joy, you need to find the bless in the mess. Now, that sounds really easy, doesn't it? And you're like, find the bless in the mess. We've been taught this our whole life. See the bright side, look for the silver lining, right? We've been taught this our whole lives. But the truth of the matter is, when we really look at our situations, whatever they may be, we have to take the time to find where God's working. Now, typically for me, I do that, but it's after the fact. So I get through this situation, like I claw through it, and then I look back and go, oh, I see what you were doing. Well, I want to shorten that time frame. I don't want to get through the situation and then see what God's doing. I'd like to bring those two closer together where I'm seeing what he's doing closer to the mess, okay? So Kay in the book says, so who are the kind of people who do that? And so she gives a couple examples and she says, are they the people who are always cheerful and happy and, bubbly? No, it's not them. Are they the people who are, wise and strong and tested and tried and true? Are they those people? No, not necessarily. The people who find the blessing in the mess are the people who intentionally look for them. That's the key word, intention. You have to look for them. So when we go through messes in our lives and we're trying so hard to shorten that time frame between the mess and finding the bless, here's what you do. You intentionally look for it. So how did I want to tie that into the disappointment thing? I want to tell you something. So recently I was hoping something was going to happen. I was trying to make something happen and I was really excited about it. And I thought it was going to happen. I had kind of resigned myself to, I'm going to get a yes answer for this. Everything's going to be fine. And I'd kind of started to lean in the direction of the yes. Okay. Well, right before this event was supposed to happen, Vince and I sat down and prayed about it just one more time before it happened. And in that prayer, we specifically said, God, if you close a door, we'll accept it. We understand that is your will and we will accept that. And then we went on about our business. We prayed that prayer and we went on knowing God was going to do what he does. Well, a few days later, our answer came in and it was no. And we were both shocked. We were like, how is that a no? It makes literal no sense that it would be a no. Like I said, we resigned ourselves to the yes. Well, we both started to be a little angry and bitter about it for a minute. And it even almost started a little tiff between us. Like it almost made us start to fight about it. And then I went, oh, wait a minute. In the statement, I went, wait a minute. The last thing we said to God was, if he closes the door, he closes the door. And Ben said, yeah. And I said, well, he closed the door, so we can't be upset about it. And we have to look at this and know he's doing something, right? And then almost instantly, we received some information from someone else that kind of started the wheel again. And I thought, maybe this is God leading us in a different direction. So I was very happy that I had done this Bible study so that I could learn that if I want to see the blessing, I have to intentionally look for it, right? And that's what I felt like I did. I intentionally went, wait a minute. And so if I'm a person who's going to trust God to the point where I say, if you close the door, I'll trust you, then I have to do that. Think how disappointed God would have been in me if I'd have been like, well, I can't believe I got to know, and started to fuss about it. And he was like, but you said you would trust me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trust him. But in our lives, those things happen and we don't know why God is working. We don't know what he's doing or what he's got going on. So I started looking at some devotions about disappointment. I wanted to see what other people said about ways to deal with disappointment. And this little devotion popped up. It was a 3-minute YouTube video. It's really, really good. I will link it below. I don't remember his name. He came up in my suggested. I'll link it below. He's a youth pastor because he was speaking to a youth conference. But he started to talk about the lineage of Jesus. And I thought, how is this going to link back to disappointment? So check this out. He's talking about how when you read the lineage of Jesus, it starts out, this person begat this person begat that person, this person begat that person. And he was like, here's what I want you to see. He said, you clearly see that Jacob begat Judah. And then when you go further into Jesus's lineage, you see that Jesus came from the house of Judah, right? You can see how all of this happened. You'll have to go and watch this little video and see how it happens, but I want to tell you what was so cool about it. So Jacob was given a wife that he did not desire. He desired Rachel, the sister of Leah. But through a series of deals made with her father, you'll have to go read this, and you do have to dig into this because he didn't even do this in his little Bible study. But through a series of deals with Laban, Leah and Rachel's father, he ended up having to marry Leah first, and that was not the one he desired. Well, come to find out, Leah could have children, but her sister Rachel couldn't. And even though Jacob ended up getting both of them as his wives eventually, Leah is the one who begat Judah. You see? So out of a disappointing situation, and this is very, very shucking this down to the cob, God still gave us Jesus. And if he can give us something so amazing, nothing more amazing than Jesus, what can he work in our disappointments? What can he work in the small things in our lives, in the day-to-days where we get no's or we get disappointed or we can't see a blessing? What can he do in those times in our lives? How many times has somebody told you that, God is refining you in situations? He's teaching you, he's training you, he's giving you strength you never knew you had for situations that could come down the line. How many times have you been told that, right? I've been taught that my whole life. I may be going through something right now, but God's using it. Vince says it over and over again. God doesn't waste our experiences. He never wastes, good or bad, right? So you may be going through something today. You probably are. Everybody has their own messes. That's another thing I want to say. And I try to make this where everybody can understand this. No one watching today doesn't have a mess. I don't care who you are. There is some mess you're dealing with. There's a mess that's out in public that everybody knows about, or there's a mess you deal with on your own. There's something you lay your head down at night on the pillow and you deal with. Something. God can work in all those situations. We have to intentionally look for him. Look for what he's doing intentionally. I've done that recently with another situation where I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is God's plan. It can't possibly be his will. And then when I started to change what I was saying and started to say, God, show me where this is your will. Show me where this is your plan. He gave me a whole perspective I would have never thought about, a completely different perspective that made perfect sense. And it helped me to go, I see. It's so much better when we just take it to him. Something to remember about God and the things that we go through is Romans 8:28. All things work together for good to them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Even because all things is even bad things. All things. For those of us who are called by God, who are living for him, he is going to work it out in our lives. It may not be the outcome we want. It may not be what we were hoping would happen. It may not be what we had resigned ourselves to. We might have even heard God wrong, but he's going to work it out. The issue is the trust. The issue is the settled assurance that God is in control. That's where our joy can come from. The settled assurance that God's got it, right? So that's where we have to be today. I hope that spoke to you in some way, maybe through the blessing and the mess, or maybe through a disappointment. Maybe you're going through a disappointment. I'm out of it. It was quick for me this time because I'm just like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I got you. You slam that door. I got it. And when he closes a door, everybody says he opens a window. I don't know. He may not. This may not be a thing that he has for me. And that's okay if it is. I have so many blessings in place of it that I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to stress about it. God's got it. And whatever he does, right? Let's go to the Lord in prayer today. God, thank you so much that you are in control. And thank you for all that you are teaching us to show us that you're in control. Thank you for when we go through a mess, you can show us the blessing. Thank you that when we come out of a mess, you have taught us to be something we weren't before we got there. Thank you that when we go through the fire, we come out refined as a whole different person and we have a whole different mindset, and we can know even more that you are in control. Thank you for every blessing. Even when we think we need or deserve another blessing, God, I thank you for the ones I currently have. Thank you for all the things you've given me in my life and where you have me right now, regardless of whatever comes in the future. I just thank you for what you've done for us to this point and what you will continue to do. God, for those watching today, Be with them. Everyone's going through a mess, God. I just pray that you'll give them some wisdom, that you will encourage them, God, to sit down and talk to you about the situation they're going through, and to intentionally look for where you're working. And God, I pray you'll show them. I know that you will. I know when we ask you for wisdom, you give it to us. And God, I just pray that you will absolutely give everyone today that's going through something your special touch of wisdom so they can relax and know you are in control. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share your word. God, I pray that you will use it in a way that just speaks to someone today in some way. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys, be intentional. Intentionally looking for his blessing, intentionally looking for his answer, intentionally looking for God in everything. Be intentional. That's what we have to do. Thanks so much, guys. Until next time. Bye now.